This is 9 News.
Good evening. In what's being labelled the biggest shake-up to Australia's economic policy settings in a generation, the Reserve Bank Board is set to be stripped of its powers to set interest rates. It comes as the federal government prepares to release a wide-ranging review into the RBA. Here's federal politics reporter Ashley Wick.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers will release this review tomorrow. There are 51 recommendations and the government will accept all of them. The changes are significant and the biggest the bank has seen in decades. 9 newspapers reporting the board will be stripped of its power to set interest rates, replaced by a board of monetary policy experts. A separate governance board also set to be established. The review examines all parts of the RBA, looking at things like how the board is made up, the frequency and formulas behind interest rate decisions and how it communicates with the public. We will learn more about other recommendations tomorrow. The government has flagged some will need to be legislated. It's hoping for the opposition's support to tick those off.
The many very public faces of Barry Humphries, Dame Edna, Sir Les are balanced by the very private side of his personal life. Tonight, though, there is considerable concern for Barry's health after the 89-year-old returned to hospital following recent surgery.
The housewife superstar who became the grand dame of comedy.
They've found me a better seat.
Barry Humphries underwent a hip replacement last month after a fall in February, but he was readmitted to St Vincent's Hospital after complications. Showbiz insider for the Sydney Morning Herald, Andrew Hornery, spoke to him 3 weeks ago.
He was very upbeat at that point. He was very much saying he was on the mend, that he was hoping to take his one-man show back on tour.
It's like he's been with us forever, a family of characters. Dame Edna.
Hello, possums. Yes, it's me, Dame Edna, and aren't I looking gorgeous?
Sir Les and Sandy Stone, a career lasting 70 years.
I'm comfortable in my own skin. I am. And you're comfortable in someone else. Laughter is a marvellous thing for the laugher and the person who induces the laugh. It's therapeutic.
According to Barry's wife, Lizzie Spender, he's doing fine. But given he's 89 years old, any recovery from hip surgery is likely to be painful and protracted.
It was meant to be his farewell tour last time, but Barry Humphries has proven time and time again that he is not quite ready to exit stage left just yet.
Tonight, generations of fans are holding their breath.
Barry Humphries is one of the most loved people on the planet and we send him all the very best. Barry, we want to see you back on stage soon.
Mark Burrows, 9 News.
And Ruth Wynne-Williams has been at St Vincent's Private Hospital this evening, where we've had an update from Barry's family.
Barry Humphries is being treated here tonight in Sydney. His publicist has released a statement saying the Star would like to thank the staff here at St Vincent's Private Hospital for their support. It also says Barry Humphries would like to thank the public for their support and best wishes, but that doesn't mean all that should stop. The statement also says Barry Humphries is calling for more and more. He is hoping he can feel a little of our support from down here tonight.
A 32-year-old man has been airlifted to hospital following a boat fire at a national park in Sydney's north. Black plumes of smoke billowing into the air at Akuna Bay Marina after the luxury cruiser erupted in flames. It's believed a worker on board the vessel at the time of the blaze may have been refuelling. He's being treated for serious burns to the face, torso, arms and legs. Victoria's opposition says the state's premier should seriously consider his position after an IBAC investigation found the government improperly awarded $1.2 million worth of grants to the Labor-linked Health Workers Union to provide training to hospital workers.
There are no findings against anyone in this report. The Anti-Corruption Commission has looked at a series of matters from some years ago and have found no corrupt conduct.
The Premier is the problem, and he can't be the answer at the same time. So the time has now come for the Premier to seriously consider his position.
The report made 17 recommendations and called for sweeping changes to limit the powers of ministerial advisors. The government is under pressure tonight to increase job seeker payments, with its own welfare advisory panel finding the current rate seriously inadequate. Experts suggest an $18 a day increase, but Labor looks set to reject the recommendation.
We can only do what is affordable. A budget's got to answer to every Australian and a lot of demands.
Our income support payments are so woefully low that they fail to meet people's even basic needs.
Raising the rate of job seeker will cost the budget around $24 billion over 4 years. A fire has caused a major electrical fault to several IT services in South Australia, including many of the state's hospitals. Health authorities now asking those who seek non-urgent care to find it elsewhere, as staff revert to paper and telephones to manage patients. It's expected that services won't return until tomorrow morning. A baby has been returned to their mother after being caught up in a terrifying carjacking near Rockhampton in the state's far north. Kate Lamb has the details.
Well, this really is every parent's worst nightmare. In this vision, a mother is packing the boot of her Nissan Patrol when a stranger jumps into her car and into the driver's seat. Now, the panicked owner realises and she tries to stop the brazen thief because her 4-month-old baby girl is sitting in the back seat, but the woman still takes off. Now, she does later realise and returns, demanding that the mother takes her child out. Thankfully, the little girl was not injured, but police say that 2 others were hospitalised with leg injuries after the carjacker crashed into a 16-year-old boy and a 39-year-old woman as she fled the car park for a second time. Now, the suspect had been seen in the Yeppoon shopping centre with a man prior to the terrifying and brazen incident that unfolded just after midday today. And after 4 hours of searching, police did manage to track down the stolen car and have taken a 24-year-old woman and 36-year-old man into custody.
Tributes are still pouring in for Catholic priest and social justice campaigner Father Bob Maguire after he died this morning, aged 88. Madeline Spark reports from Melbourne.
Well, Father Bob Maguire certainly did dedicate his life to helping people who needed it most. He was a charismatic Catholic priest, but perhaps he was best known for his charity through his own foundation, the Father Bob Maguire Foundation, which was devoted to delivering meals and other comforts to people who needed it most. So news of his passing is terribly sad today, and it did come as an announcement this morning that he died at Cabrini Hospital, aged 88, and those who knew him best say that his health had been deteriorating over the past few months. As you'd imagine, for somebody who's so well loved, there's been an outpouring of grief with news of his passing. Everybody from the Prime Minister tweeting to people on the street who had crossed paths with Father Bob over the years. But members of his foundation say that it's now their mission to carry on with Father Bob's inspiring work.
He wanted to create a sense of belonging and a sense of people feeling as if they had somewhere they belonged, because so many of the people he dealt with were highly marginalised, had difficult lives. He wanted to rescue them.
Father Bob became a priest when he was just 25 years old back in 1960. He also became a member of the Order of Australia about 3 decades ago for helping homeless youth. So he certainly lived an incredible life and leaves behind a huge legacy.
Final preparations are underway tonight for a total eclipse in Western Australia. The solar show tomorrow will turn day into darkness for 62 seconds. Reporter Jack Hahn is following the story live from Perth for us. Jack, tell us, where is the best vantage point to watch the show?
Well, that's a very good question, Ellie. Good evening to you. There'll be several viewing locations right across Perth, like the SciTech Discovery Centre lit up behind me, where you can see the eclipse and also live stream the action from the best vantage point. That is 1,200 kilometres north of Perth in a tiny town called Exmouth. The coastal community is expecting 100% totality. What does that mean? Well, that's basically when the moon fully covers up the sun. That will be 62 seconds at 11:29 tomorrow morning, turning day way into darkness. Thousands of scientists as well as travellers have flocked to the outback town to get a glimpse of this incredibly rare solar show. But of course, when everyone's looking up at the skies, you're certainly banking on clear skies being there, and thankfully nothing but sunshine is on the forecast, and everyone will get a slice of this eclipse pie no matter where you're watching us tonight. Darwin will see 80% totality, 21% for Adelaide, 16% of a show in Brisbane, just 10% in Melbourne, and sadly for you, Airlie, just 9% totality in Sydney at 1:29, but no doubt it will be well worth a watch.
You've got the best seat in the house, Jack. Thank you. As Ramadan comes to a close, worshippers have taken to the streets of Sydney's west tonight to perform the Taraweeh evening prayer. Marking the holiest month on the Muslim calendar, for 1 hour, a hush fell over the 7,000-strong crowd gathered at Lakemba. After 30 colourful nights, the popular Ramadan Nights Cultural Festival comes to a close tomorrow. OK, in the news ahead, 5 people arrested over an Adelaide man's kidnap, torture and murder. Dozens killed as a fire tears through a hospital in Beijing. And a $1 billion hole in Rupert Murdoch's pocket after settling a defamation lawsuit.